Hey GDQ, this is Pear Strike, and this is my video for Sonic R Any %. This is one of the out of bounds categories. I'm also submitting a race with coverage for any % no out of bounds and 100% no out of bounds. So the no out of bounds categories. But I'm just submitting this one, any % as a solo run. I think it would be a good donation incentive to couple one of those other races, because this doesn't show the game off too well, but it does show the kinds of broken things that you could do in it. As you just saw, we clipped out of bounds. We ran around to basically where we begun, and now we're going to go in this column, and we're going to kind of just rotate around the lap trigger, because as you might be able to see over here, it's the finish line right over there. So we're going to go around this, I believe, 4 times, and finish. We also have to be careful when we're in those columns, because that's the only part that's out of bounds. All the other stuff is open to fall out, and it's really hard to kind of rotate around that. I'm holding R, I'm holding up on the control stick, and I'm tapping the D-pad all at the same time, trying to slowly walk around, because as you might be able to tell, the controls aren't great. I'm also just recording this video over a PB, so there's no sound. But if you want to know the sound, it's the great Sonic R soundtrack, the famous soundtrack. This run is going to be hitting all of the songs, I believe, except for Supersonic Racing. So, yeah, that's all accessible on YouTube to check out. So that we did the first one with Sonic. Now we're going to switch with Knuckles. He is better. He's the only one who's able to do these clip outs right here. So as you can see, I went through that rock and that fence, and I just moved back and forth. And now these are different clip outs than what we saw in the first level. The first level, I just jumped out of bounds through a bit of a slope, and then I ran around. It was pretty simple. But this one, we have to go, and it's basically luck-based, whether we'll clip out or not. So we will clip out. It just might take a while, or it might not take a while. So the first one is kind of less consistent with. I mean, I have it consistent. I have a consistent setup for it, but yeah, the second one you will clip out. It just might take a while. Now here we're going to do basically the same thing, but we got to be careful here. So I'm abusing a bit of a drifting mechanic down these walls, just to go a little bit faster. Now, if we clip out to the right here, we will clip back into the track and be around, and then be stuck through the gate. So I would have to reset. Just the level. So that would lose a little bit of a bit of time, and it is pretty random whether that'll happen. But more often than not, I feel like I get out correctly. And also, if I catch it soon enough, I can still get myself out on the right side, or on the left side in this situation. And then once again, we went around the lap trigger and finished. Every level in this, it has a big skip. The first 4 are all just out of bounds, and then in the 5th, we actually have to do a little bit of movement, and there's a sequence break. We skip through a bunch of the level, but we don't go out of bounds because we're still basically in the big tube of the level. So this level is basically the same as the last one. We want to clip to the left, because if we clip out to the right, then we get stuck through that door, and that's a ring door. We need 20 rings, and obviously we don't have any, so we can't get through it, but that was pretty quick. And then also there's a little bit of water here, but basically the same thing. Just go around the laps. Yeah, so Knuckles is the only one. Also, Metal Knuckles actually can also clip out like this. But yeah, Knuckles is also the only one. As you see, Amy is over here in her car. She has a out of bounds in the next level, but we don't do it because it is unbelievably inconsistent. It's almost like impossible to get it correct. I've tried so hard to be able to do it, but she basically does the same thing as Knuckles. She gets in between a corner, and then she boosts into it. But if it doesn't, this corner right over here to the right, but if it doesn't work, then she just has to redo it, and it takes a long time, so it's not worth it. Instead, we're just going to do the level pretty normal, but we have a skip called the Helix Skip, which is really hard, but this is a little bit of the run. So the cool thing, if 100% no out of bounds also got accepted in this, is everything that would be shown off through the 2 different runs are different. Because in 100% no out of bounds, we do this with supersonic. We don't do the skip. And also the music is different. So that's a big component. As you can see, I jumped off at a certain part and then I just glided until this part of this level, and I skipped the bottom part and going up to this top level. And then that first one is easy to do, but also in this first lap, I have to maintain my rings because there's a zipper coming up here. And if I have 50 rings, I go as far as possible in the zipper. I only had 43 there, so it wasn't perfect, but it's really hard to get a lot of rings. And now this one, you got to stay really close to the edge while moving, but without hitting it while you're going around, because you could bump on the inside of the course that you're gliding around. And that, if you lose like basically any speed there, you won't make it. So the second and third lap for the helix skip, it's really hard. So, still collecting rings. I still want 50 rings because I got to do this zipper again. I'm going to come close. See, I got 45. That's decent. And then I'm going to set it up again. It's a very specific angle that you have to hit here. This is a really hard trick to do. And this is why any percent no out of bounds would be a really exciting race, because of this big skip at the end. Any percent no out of bounds does this level basically the same as I'm doing it right now. And then boom, that's it. That's a Sonic R Any percent. You know, a really broken, really weird, really goofy kind of run. Yeah, man. So thanks a lot for watching, and you know, Supersonic Racing. Thanks.